Okay, so that should be back up.
Okay, let's see.
Your fates end in chains.
Okay.
Your hearts sing for blood.
I told the
Come then.
chat that we would be back. Okay, I see. It seems to be going much more smoothly now. But
Okay.
let me ask.
Taste a serious power.
All right. Let's see. Chat is better.
Greatness
Because
rises
there
above
was
such trifles.
no issue on our side, but
Okay.
A testament to a
I
serious
don't see
supremacy.
anything wrong with that. Oh, that's our faction leader, by the way.
Must.
Yes.
Who looks, you know,
The Nurta
not a
Aqua
day
Ichor.
older than 90,
I will
but
not
he's
hold back.
he's in his
38.
20s.
This
At least
city
he's 38
shall
now.
I mean, he's 30. Oh, he's basically my age.
38 and at the gates of Suza.
Excellent. I mean,
I want them
honestly.
broken.
So we're gonna be
Your heartless
taking on the
What a way.
the great city, the greatest city of Elam. See if we can, because we've been dealing with the Elamites for a little bit now. See if we can put an end to that. I always want to check
I
if we can
take care of
confederate
problems.
our vassals, and it looks
Yeah,
like
if
not
someone wants to be federated,
not for a little while maybe.
You can count
we'll
on
get
me.
there.
Oh, this
we'll
like
get there eventually.
random person over in it looks like Byzantium. We might be able to vassalize in exchange
Yeah.
for some
I
gold,
mean,
but
Yeah, I don't see why not. It's weird. It's weird. How did they even hear about us? Who are you?
So
Yeah.
far away.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're
this
just
this is a thing that happens in the Assyrian inscriptions. You get like rulers from very far away that submit.
has their duty.
Though what exactly that means in reality, as opposed to in the minds of the Assyrians, is a little tougher to figure out. Like,
I
is
mean,
this guy actually submitting, or is he just sending you a diplomatic gift? Like, he's 150 miles away from the border.
Yeah.
Does he care? Actually,
right? What is
always
his
difficult.
What is his deal? Ah, there we go. Always weird. So, so after the Amarna and conspiracies, and how would how do you kill your dad when you need to access the throne? Which are important questions. Oh, those are rebels, by the way.
yeah, oh yeah, no, they're around.
Let's talk about dogs. So
Always.
my extensive research with coffee this morning told me that dogs were actually sacred to certain deities in Mesopotamia, in ancient Mesopotamia. And I also remember from my teachings, like I'm fucking Neferti, that we do have Assyrian dogs. We have beautiful models of Assyrian dogs, Neo-Assyrian dogs, made of, I believe it's terracotta.
Yeah, they are terracotta.
From Nineveh, right? The excellent boys.
strong.
Let me put them in the chat.
And they
With
are
their
all
names.
named too. Yeah.
They're all named, yes. So loud is his bark,
Let none
great
escape.
name,
Great name.
Biter of his
Oh,
foe,
they're cute.
they're so
All great
cute.
name.
Catcher of the enemy,
Curly
very
tail.
important. Expeller of evil, great. And then my favorite of the bunch, the more contemplative boy, whose name is Don't Think, Bite.
Yeah.
Don't think quite.
I love him. They're so cute. They're so they're like very naturalistic looking. And we do know that they had big large mastiffs.
Mastiff
They
type
are
dog,
like-
yeah.
Yeah. They're good for hunting. I mean, if you're hunting lions like for real, you may want something that is big that can withstand, because lions are big cats, and the way cats hunt is they go for the neck and they try
Yes.
to snap it. If you have something that is too small, they're going to snap the neck like this. You need something that can withstand the attack from here,
Absolutely.
right? If you've ever seen how lions hunt buffaloes, for instance, it's terrifying. Sometimes they try with hippos because they're fucking, I mean, I don't know, man, they're cats, They always try for something too big. But if you need a dog to hunt them, then you need something that can survive an attack.
Yeah.
So that would probably explain why they bred these big boys. But they're beautiful and they have giant paws, and they're just
Yeah.
I love them. I love them very much. And
They have
then we
much longer hair than
Yeah.
than a lot of the dogs that we see in Egypt. Egypt dogs seem to be very, very short-haired. Very rarely have I seen anything that has any sort of long hair in Egypt, which makes sense with the heat
I mean,
and such.
it's so hot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hot.
Whereas like in Mesopotamia, you get, you get the snow, you get the cold, you get like, you need,
Yeah, you get a couple
boys.
things.
I listen.
You need the boys that are like, that can withstand the cold
I
and
am
everything else.
destined to rule.
I don't know,
I
like,
seek
about
comrades with
pets.
vision.
Like, I couldn't find things about pets. I want to assume they had
Take
them
them.
because,
Feed them.
I
The
mean,
way that I sort of
Perhaps
when I
another
approached
time.
like my thesis
I need
is that I
hearty
I tried
warriors.
not to use the word pets ever,
Feel the
and I
ranks.
personally
Training will
I
come
decided to
later.
use personal animals because I felt like that one covered both the definition of pets that we have
We
now, which is
snatched
someone that
victory
is
from
like
defeat's
the dog is not
jaws.
really expected to do anything; it is just expected to be a companion. But it also, I feel like personal animals does also cover working animals. And so I
Yeah.
found, I tried to use that term like throughout my thesis so that like, I didn't try to give that connotation of like, we cannot assume that these dogs literally did nothing and just sat around and did exactly what they do now. Like, we can't assume that. So
Right.
I always tried to go with personal animals, and I can't remember it as much, but I do have a guest lecture on my YouTube page with a person on TikTok called Wedgie BCE, and they work with Cuneiform and Babylon and stuff, and so we did a co-lecture where I talked about ancient Egyptian dogs and they talked about Mesopotamian dogs.
give
And
us
so
the link, give us the link, put it in the chat.
Yes, I will put
Oh
it
my
in the
God.
chat. It's been so long. That was that 2 years ago, I think. So
Get
I
the
can't
one word,
remember.
one kingdom ambition, grand ambition. We
Oh,
are
yeah.
one city away, sorry. Yeah,
Let's
throw
go.
it in the chat, let's go.
A
Yeah,
fight.
let me find it.
Yes.
Also,
yeah.
from the chat, Arcanist is telling us the terrifying fact. Some big cats have fine-tuned nerve clusters on their
They cannot
canines
escape.
that allow them to sense when they found the subtle gaps between cervical vertebrae.
Oh.
Holy shit, new nightmare unlocked.
That's really scary.
It is scary. It's like not only can they kill you, they can also sense where to bite. To kill you, Briana, did
Engage
you
the
know
enemy.
that your cats have the potential of sensing?
It's actually
So you
wild.
would tell me one of you would tell me canines is chipped, so I don't know if he can.
Oh, baby.
Fantastic display of bravery.
Yes,
Oh,
very sad.
Please,
But at
Lilium.
least my other two cats are safe then, because one thing I noticed about them is they will wait until the other one has turned its back
True
before
master
it
of the
pounces.
Begone,
You're right.
foul, you serpent.
right? That's
So funny, 'cause,
that's
like,
why.
you know,
That's
big
why.
cats do that.
Surrender.
Yes, they do that.
Lions do that. Yeah, like at
Yeah,
zoos,
yeah.
like when people put their little kids there, they're like
Oh
toddlers
my
with their
God.
back to the window, and then the lions try to eat it.
Do you know what you're doing? Like, what the fuck? It's not trying to play, it's trying to kill. Have you never seen the Assyrian reliefs of the Great Lion Hunt? Those are not kitties with which you want to play.
Oh, absolutely. not.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Triumph.
There are, you know.
must stand
But
together.
so let's see what else. Yeah. So people claim that dogs were actually sacred. Well, to some of the
Everybody
deities
has their
in in Mesopotamia. So the healing goddess Gula was depicted with a dog, which I buy that.
Yep.
As was Inanna. Interesting. And we have dog collars too. Okay, but
Yep.
this dog, this dog. Sorry, there is this beautiful seal with a dog that looks like
Send me this picture.
like
I
a,
need to see this.
it looks like a Shih Tzu, but like
Oh my
with a
God.
dragon. It's like it's very low on the ground, and it's like
Yeah, that is a very interesting depiction of dogs because it one of the parts of my thesis that I actually hated to do so much is at the very beginning, since it was an art history thesis, my professor made me do an entire section talking about the differences in how dogs, wolves, jackals, and African wild dogs, how they are depicted. And so I had to go, and hyenas, I forgot hyenas. And like somehow I missed out on foxes, so I didn't have to, but I had to like do all this research on completely different things just to be able to like essentially defend that I'm saying this is a dog, because oh my gosh, the amount of things that are labeled as
It's a
dogs
delicate palate.
but are
and they're
jackals
not.
is crazy.
Yeah.
is really crazy. And in some languages, I can't remember if that
The
was
twin brothers turn against each
so
other.
one of the museums I was looking up. I had to translate everything and like had to put it through like Google Translate, and they wrote
Virtues are
dog
abandoned.
meaning jackal every time. Like I don't know if there was some different word for jackal versus dog, but like they wrote dog even though they knew it was a jackal because they also wrote it there, and that was really annoying. But like looking at this like seal, in my mind, that's not a dog because that looks so much more like a jackal in my opinion. But like I don't even think jackals are probably depicted in Mesopotamia as much as they
do
are
they
in
have
Egypt.
jackals? That's a good question. Let's see.
Jackals are weird though because the way Egyptians depicted jackals is not what actual jackals look like. There is no such breed of jackals that is full black.
Oh, look, a lion.
Like that is a lion. Oh, that's so cool.
Oh wow.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, that is
I love
us.
this image.
Look at us.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we get the
look at
that.
Oh, the master of the animals.
Yeah.
Holding the kitties. I also like that
So
this
cool.
Assyrian king is like showing the chest hair.
He's huge. He's absolutely huge.
Yes.
Oh, that was
Like
really cool.
Mediterranean, even though we're not nowhere near the Mediterranean, but it's like, you know.
So we
I
got
love
the One World, One Kingdom achievement, and so that gave us the victory points to get over the edge. To
Excellent.
a minor victory, though of course we're going to go for more than that, I think.
I mean, necessarily.
Very good.
Yeah, so we got
Look at us.
23 points from Homelands. We also got 1 point for controlling Suhum Elu, which is apparently a foreign land. King of the
greatest
universe.
of legends.
Greatest of legends. God
The great. I'm
favored.
sorry, what is the great?
The great
Yeah,
is
yeah,
you
it's
just get
great, yeah.
tier 3 in Sargon's legacy archetypes. So we're
Okay. Oh, we're getting there. Very slowly.
yes.
Very slowly.
Very slowly. Ooh. Chat is asking if there isn't now a theory that the jackals in art from ancient Egypt were actually African
Submit
wolves.
to me.
So yes and no. So wolves are a weird
Walls
like
will not save them.
wolves are like a weird middle ground where they are very, very rarely depicted. I think what you might be referencing to is
I
that
do not like this.
bones of jackals have been like DNA tested and that they are actually closer to like African wolf. All these memories are like so
Future
close in my
belongs
brain,
to
but
us.
they're not connecting.
Explore
But
the region.
the weird thing about it, what I was saying before, is that there is no black jackal.
Honor
When you
and
look up the
glory.
jackals that live in
Cut
Egypt,
them
they
asunder.
That's true. They're
are-
not black.
they
None
have
of them
black
are black.
speckles, but they are not like fully black. So we can then say that the black color of the jackals that are depicted, that is purely stylistic. That is showing the black. Black is a fertility color. It is a regeneration color, and so it's like they are imbuing that into this jackal, which is obviously associated with Anubis and mummification and regeneration and fertility and all of these different
We
things.
make life.
But jackals are so small in general, and the way that Egyptians depict them is they depict them quite tall a lot of the times. Like they have really long legs. When jackals are really closely related to to foxes. They look very similar to foxes. They're very short, but they do have these long bushy tails, which is one of the big indicators that you can tell the difference between an Egyptian dog and a jackal, is that the jackal will have a big bushy tail that usually will touch the floor. Like it'll be really, really long.
Bugs keep
And
biting.
any sort of dogs that in ancient Egypt that have the pointed ears
Your
that
hidden unit.
jackals have
Stand revealed.
will have a curly tail. Most often than not, that is kind of the Old Kingdom and early Middle Kingdom ideal dog is a dog with very skinny, pointed ears and this perfect corkscrew curly tail. While then dogs in like the New Kingdom and later have long tails that are like sabers. They kind of curve out and then have little lop ears. They don't have the pointed ears anymore. And so people are like back and forth, is that the breeding or is that just what the ideal dog is? Probably a mixture of both. Obviously these Mesopotamian dogs, they also had little curly tails, but they were much more fuller and bushier. And there are some instances in ancient Egyptian art where we do see these mastiff type dogs, usually in pre-dynastic era, which would make sense because dogs probably entered Egypt via Mesopotamia. And so probably the way that the dogs typically looked like in the very early parts are what they look like in Mesopotamia,
Mhm.
and then that to me tells me that okay, the Old Kingdom ones are probably an idealistic image. They're not really maybe reflecting exactly what the dogs actually look like. And then you also have instances of like corgi or like dachshund, so like really short legs, pointed ears, curly tail, really short legs, lop ears, long tail, like kind of mixtures of those that appear throughout. There's some Old Kingdom, there's some New Kingdom, and so those are like, you're looking at that, you're like, okay, is that a totally different breed?
Right,
or
where
is
do
that,
they come from?
Where did
What
they
is
come
that?
from? It doesn't make a lot of sense because there's so little of them in comparison. And so it's like, in my mind, that shows a more realistic image of a dog because it's not fitting with all the other imagery that is from that time period. And so that might just be the decision of somebody that I have an actual dog that looks like this. I'm going to depict that dog on my wall. The biggest like conclusion that I had, Baha, one of my followers, has I have 3 little emotes of some of the dogs.
Thank you.
That we
Thank you
use.
for the
So
emotes of the dogs. Excellent.
you can
excellent.
see the corgi one in the middle there, and that one has a name. That one is Anku. I mean, like lively or given life. And I kind of concluded that if somebody bothered to give the dog a name, that is more than likely a real life dog. Like I can't say 100% sure if that is a real dog, but like,
But yeah,
I think if somebody is
why would you
Why would you
name
do that?
an ideal dog, right?
yes.
The great thing about Anku as a dog name is that's a people name. Like Anku is a person's name fully.
The vast majority of ancient Egyptian dog names are real names. Like I love the ones that you brought up with the Mesopotamia ones, and we have some that are kind of on that level, but most of them are just very normal.
Yeah, no,
Are
it's
kind
like
of-
it's like calling your dog Steve, and it's like okay.
There's
I mean,
yeah. There's one that's there's a couple that are Heben, which is Blackie, or like black one. There's also red one. So like some of them are very simple, and there are a couple weird ones as well.
I mean, Potbelly comes to mind.
Yeah. Oh, Potbelly, which like that one is a whole. That one's a whole kit and caboodle to like, because those ones are translated from other languages, and so then they've been like translated into Egyptian, and I had to read so many articles about people going back and forth on what those names meant.
Oh
Because
my
it didn't
god,
make
and
any sense.
the one that is like useless, but maybe it's not
useless.
useless. Yeah.
I think it's I don't like it is technically what it means.
Which is like is the dog saying I don't like it? Is the owner receiving a dog? I mean, like what is the
Why would
like,
you? I can understand the sad kind of names that some people give their dogs, but like something that is just so blatantly like I don't like it is like
yeah, wow.
very silly.
Or
Why would you
maybe,
name a pet that?
or maybe it was a picky
feel like-
eater.
Yeah.
There are people who do that kind of stuff today, and they give like mean names to their animal, but it's because they love them so much.
Like Stinky.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing to have it like, oh yeah, this is this is stinky cat, haha, and another thing to be like, this is my eternal monument to my family. This is my son and my daughter and my dog,
Yeah.
whose name is the worst horrible man.
There's one there's one that's a female dog with
Sorry, but just
who's,
look at
like,
these
stuck-
boats and just sitting here in the harbor
Yeah, oh,
as we're
that's so
we're
cute.
attacking.
They're little papyrus boats. I love
Yeah.
But why are they there? We're not in Egypt. What?
No, this is kind of so.
papyrus. Didn't
the-
it grow in the same river
He-
system? I have no idea.
Yeah, this looks like maybe some more Egyptian-y housing to me at least.
It looks more. Well, I mean,
It does. This looks Egyptian.
Because we are in Urartu, actually. Just a little bit in Urartu, but we're in Urartu.
One of your units has
Part of the reason I'm
defeated
finding this out is
enemy.
I want to show off, Melissa, to you the Urartian army, which has a lot of horsemen in it. It's kind of anachronistic for them to have horses. Iron Age Urartu, they're really accurate too. Like,
Oh my god.
the like Phrygian caps and all. But this
why
is
are they dressed like Phrygians?
Yeah, I mean, I do think this is accurate to Assyrian, like, wall reliefs, to my memory, of what Urartians look like. It's just from much later periods that's true.
This is very interesting.
But the city itself is remarkably Egyptian.
It looks
Yeah, it
funny.
is. the very whitewashed buildings and such, and second floors, which like are similar, but I feel like the white color is very typical of like the Egyptian houses.
Yes.
And the big cone granaries are very Egyptian as well. Over in this area.
Though, funnily
I have
enough, this is exactly what the dig house at Abydos looks like. They also have big cone roof, like rooms for people. So.
You guys have dig houses? We stay in town. So we get the party started. I have dog related, but also Amarna related questions. Do we have dogs from Amarna?
Oh, this is the greatest question ever.
Do we have mentions of pets from Amarna? Because those palaces were like at gardens and everything else. Like I would want to assume that, like, apart from the birds that will, forcefully be brought into the gardens to make them lively, like the frogs and the fish and everything else, and the horses, because we do have the name of the horses, I think. Do we have any royal animals?
It's within your grasp.
Apart from Akhenaten. What?
The enemy has lost the victory.
So from my research, up until literally like a couple months ago, I had 0 depictions of dogs in Amarna. But although I had a mention of it, so the only mention of possibly dogs being eaten came from Amarna. And but it's not really that accurate. I think technically it's not like a textual thing. It's that essentially in an area there was in Amarna there was a military barracks, and near the barracks they found tons of buried dog remains. And I think I don't know if it was Petrie, but it might have been Petrie, but somebody essentially was like, why are there so many dead dogs here? Maybe they ate them. And it was just something
that was... the dogs, oh my god.
It was something that was very, very quietly kind of passed down to some texts that I found. But by the time I had kind of found it, people were like, well, that's not really based on anything. But there apparently was like a lot of dog remains found buried in this military barrack area. But depiction-wise, I had nothing. And like, obviously a lot of Amarna was destroyed, but like we do have little instances and stuff. And so it was very telling to me that like there aren't a lot of hunting scenes as much in like Amarna scenes as well, but like there aren't little dogs like wandering around like little cities and stuff. And literally when we were doing those Amarna discussion streams, we were looking at I was reading a tomb description, and the tomb description said that there was a dog. And I was like, guys, like we were live on stream when I said this. I was like, guys, this is big news. This is the first dog that I ever have in
the whole city.
In the whole city and all of the tombs and stuff is the one dog that I have been able to find. But I don't think I have a picture of it. I think like this tomb is just not very well preserved. It was literally just in the writing. And that was, unfortunately, when it came to my research, I was mainly looking for images rather than like just reading. I could not read every single excavation report of every single tomb, so I was kind of going via images and going via like Moss and Porter and Moss. So that Porter and Moss tripled the amount of dogs in my corpus by just searching dog, and because I was going off of like shorter things, and then suddenly I was like, oh, I should check Porter and Moss, and then I was like, I screwed myself. This is, I now have tripled it. Because when I finished my thesis, it was at 490. And since then, we've extended to about my current number, because I'm looking at my thesis, my corpus right now, is 5. My next number will be 533. So I've added, within the past, which is one of the things I was going to talk to you guys about, is that I literally found a new named dog a couple months ago because of one of my followers watching a documentary, which was crazy. The same thing, it was on the documentary. Let me find it. It's in the documentary Lost Treasures of Egypt, which is on Disney Plus and Hulu and stuff. And essentially it's an excavation in Thebes, and this group discovers a tomb of Nias Emro. And from the third intermediate period. And not only is there a little dog sitting underneath the chair that is named, he's named Heken, meaning I have to look up a little bit if I can figure out what that might mean. But then in the actual tomb, there was a mummified dog left at the foot of one of the the 3 people buried in there. So it is also the only tomb that I have that has a named dog and an actual buried dog.
Oh my god.
Unfortunately, the dog and the other people might be like a later reburial. It's a little unclear.
But still,
like, it's still like, because he literally, again, we were just doing a discussion stream, and my follower was like, "Oh, I was watching this documentary and they found a buried dog," and I was like, "What?" And like this show they literally excavated this in 2019 to 2022, so it is literally like also the most recently discovered dog. But yeah, so it's like that like blew my mind. I was like, oh my gosh, this like, because I keep finding random things on museum catalogs, because like museums since 2020 have had a little bit more opportunity to like expand their catalogs online and stuff, so I keep finding random things, but that one was like newly discovered. Very cool.
New dog.
Yeah.
New dog. Oh my god.
Always a new dog.
No, it's I mean, on the one hand, it's great when you're like working on something and you read something that adds to your knowledge. On the other hand, it's terrible. You're like, fuck, now I need to work more.
I had a little I had a notebook for my thesis that was just like random notes that I would have. And essentially at one point when I finally started writing my thesis, I decided that I wasn't going to add any more to my corpus. Like I decided I was like, okay, we're writing it, we're going to stop.
Yeah, same.
There was a secret page in the back of this notebook that said dogs that need to be added later, because I kept discovering more, and I was just like, it's okay, we're just gonna write these all down, and then after I publish it, we will add it to the Excel spreadsheet, and it'll be fine, and my professor doesn't need to know, and that was like a lot of the reasons why I continued to do this series, is that I keep finding more, and so I'm using kind of TikTok as a way to try to make a video about every single dog. But at this point, I think we're almost at 100 videos, so we're 1/5 of the way there.
I mean,
that's
you know
so
what?
many.
And you keep finding them. We're not
keep finding them. It's never gonna stop. Never.
No, it happens. So wait, before when we were talking about Amarna, I think Briana was was trying to. I was trying to say something, but I don't remember what it was. We were talking about animals.
Pets. It was if there are any pets.
Exactly.
I don't recall any, certainly not any royal ones.
The only one that we have that's close is Akhenaten's older brother, the brother that died.
Is he a pet?
He has the cat.
He's the cat owner, yeah.
He has the cat owner.
I named my cat after her.
Yeah. Oh, you did?
Yes. The cat that appeared at the window.
But yeah, it cracks me up because it's something that like seems silly, but it's like if you're moving an entire capital and all the people there, like having like a personal animal seems just like a little like I gotta focus on other things, kind of. And so,
but then again, you're rich, you're wealthy.
I know, but
you're
it's
not
so
doing
weird.
both.
Mine though the opposite. Like if the government is making me uproot my life and go to the desert, I am taking the dog, and they cannot stop me.
Right,
this is the
I'm
only
taking
thing.
all the boys and like I don't care. But
maybe
I don't know. Maybe
Not was an animal hater. Maybe he hated animals.
Right, maybe they didn't raid them for. Also, like with 6 small kids in the house, I mean, having pets might be a danger to all of them because all those scrappy hands are gonna grab everything.
A priest. He was a priest before, so like maybe he wasn't really allowed to like have any sort of animals like when he worked in the priesthood and stuff. Yeah, it's a very interesting. I was very surprised that like there was such a distinct period that I couldn't really find anything about.
Because usually you have like these fucking menageries. Like you got the lions, you got the panthers, you got all sorts of weird things. You got Tutmosis III coming back from campaign with chickens, which good for him. We love that for him. But like, what the fuck? It's like, is this the best? I mean, your grandfather hunted elephants and you bring back chicken? I guess.
Chickens are valuable, you know? They're good for the
No, we love them.
economy.
Yeah.
They're lovely, lovely animals. This is not chicken slander, especially with
No
the price
chicken
like right
slander
now.
here.
But you know, in this economy, but, you know, and it's like it's not the best you can bring. And then you got, you know, the giraffes being brought up, and the hippos in the canals keeping the hyksos going, which are not part of the menagerie, but
Your warriors
you know,
are
you got
wavering.
and you know Ramesses with slaughterer, and what you know, and how many other animals. But it's like, yeah, it is sort of weird, and like even in in everyone's gardens, like you will have birds, like necessarily because they just come and stay, like you know,
Yeah.
frogs and other.
One of your units has depleted their ammunition.
I wonder if maybe as part of kind of like Akhenaten's like wanting to kind of step away from like the priesthood being so powerful and like rich is like maybe kind of taking away some of these like excessive like extra things that like the pharaohs and like the priesthood would have, because obviously he's got his own stuff, but like I wonder if maybe that was somewhat part of it, is like trying to focus on himself a little bit more.
Remember that, you know, we're just dealing with whatever record he thought was important.
Your warriors have been routed.
It's very true.
But,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, he should... Come on, man. The dogs are important. We want to know.
The cats. I mean, you name the horses. Like just give us, you know,
Yeah.
another pet. Like I was about to say a parrot, and then I realized no parrots.
Yeah, it is just
Yeah, no,
weird.
it is rude. I mean, honestly, like
I'm kind of scared he might be an animal hater. I'm kind of scared of that.
Oh, me too. I hope not. Maybe they didn't like him.
maybe they didn't like
him.
him. Right,
Maybe
it's
they
one
didn't
of those
like him.
persons that's like universally hated by animals for reasons that the animals
I want to
call
like
them.
dogs, but dogs hate me.
Like maybe he was allergic. You know what?
Maybe he was allergic.
It's you know,
Unfortunate
it's an option.
circumstances.
I mean, in this house we would like to have cats, but there's two allergic people, so
Oh, that's so sad.
I know.
we are cursed.
I keep wanting to get a cat, but I keep forgetting that my mom and dad or my mom and brother are allergic, so they wouldn't really be able to come to my house.
So you know that
It's a bummer.
Kate was so brave. She would babysit my cats when I was away, because we were both still in.
Oh yeah, it was
Your
me and
warriors have
Benadryl
panicked.
and the cats. They needed my help, you know. It was necessary. One time, oh my God! So the Mahu Bagheera was very plushy and very gray, and he had these big bright eyes. And one day I went in and I saw the tabby Topaz, and I was like, oh hello, where's your nowhere? He was nowhere to be found. I was like, shit, I lost a cat. And then I look up on a chair and there's like plushies, and then there's one plushie with these big green eyes, and I was like, oh, that's great. It was 5 minutes of abject terror. I was like, the door was locked, the windows were closed. This is a closed door murder scene. Where is this cat, right? Surely. he's
I had
somewhere.
that happen many times to myself, so every cat
One of
owner
my-
has got this.
I felt
One time I was-
observed.
I was sleeping over at my friend's house once, and she had an amazing cat that I loved. And I woke up really early in the morning, and I was wondering where the cat was, and so I was kind of looking around, and she had a really small apartment. I was like, where's this cat? And I peeked my head like in the bedroom because there was like no door, and I was like, the cat is just like gone. I was like, okay, it's probably just like hiding somewhere. And then I looked up, and this cat is on top of this extremely tall bookshelf, just like loafing and staring at me. I was like, ah! I was like, oh my god, I didn't know you could get up there.
No, they do that. One time I was sleeping at a friend's house, and he had like a giant bed, so I fell asleep like next to my friend. It was like one of those nights in London where we would club for far too long, and then we were like, you know what, it's fine. And then I wake up in the morning, and I open my eyes, and instead of my friend, I see a cat. And like, for a few seconds, I was like, you know when you're like just looking up,
I shall
and,
bring a new era to the whole
like my
world.
mind
friend
went
turned into a cat.
transformed.
Metamorphosis. Your friend turned into a cat. Absolutely.
How did this happen? I was like,
It happens. People transform into cats. You never know.
Absolutely.
I mean,
my
yeah,
God.
or ferrets
Another
if you
year,
read the wrong
another
translations
campaign.
of what is it? Oh my God, the Pharsalia. You know, sometimes witches turn into either ferrets or
Bag
cats.
of
It's like
gold?
there's a difference there. You know
bronze
that the
blade.
stoats and cats. There's some difference
yeah.
there. Not the
Big
same
difference.
animal at all.
Master of the arts.
Even though, sometimes, oh my God, this is the pet peeve. Sometimes in museums,
shall bring
there's
a new era
clearly one
to the
animal
whole
represented,
vale.
and then the label says something else, and you're like, we need to sit down and have a talk, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
I was gonna say a very nice follower sent me a message and was like, "Oh, a museum I volunteer at has like this really cool piece of a coffin that has all these dogs that are all leashed together." And I was like, "Oh, it's so cool.
Only the
What is it so I
bravest
can make sure
should
that I
come.
have it?" And then they sent it to me, and I was like, "Those are jackals. Those are
What?
jackals. There's just always
I
they're
see
always
comrades with
jackals."
vision.
But it
There's
really
always-
they label them as dogs. I'm like, they're jackals. They're jackals. It's like
Canine. Yeah. When I
if you
have to
see
describe-
something that is straight black, it's gonna be a jackal. Like dogs are never depicted that color. Like it's gonna be a jackal.
it's gonna be a jackal. I tell my students to like be as vague as possible when they describe, unless they're really certain. It's like,
future
don't say it's a
belongs
dog,
to
a fox,
us.
say it's a canine.
Okay, now
Keep it, keep it vague, right?
that will help.
And so last week they had to talk about
Sounds
jaguars and
important.
pumas in Mayan art, and they were like, yeah, so they are big felines, and I was like, there you
Good
go,
job.
see, right?
Yeah.
This one is a big big feline with spots, and this one is a big feline without spots. I was like, perfect, see, it's easier.
Perfect.
That also plays in the is it Anubis or Wepwawet or any
Oh,
dog, jackal-headed, canine-headed dog at all.
but Wawad is so weird. I was very surprised about kind of how little depictions of like there is of him, like besides like just looking like a jackal. Like there's this one image of him where he has like a gray coat, like, and that is like, and so there are people that are like, oh, Wepwawet's not a jackal, he's actually a wolf. And so like the back and forth of like that Wepwawet is a wolf and Anubis is a jackal, but then also Wepwawet can also be depicted fully black, so he's probably both. And Wepwawet is a weird middle ground. He gets back and forth sometimes.
I feel like the answer so often is that the Egyptians were very flexible. You know, you could.
Yes.
Did it get across which god it was? Okay, good enough.
Yeah, and also that time is so long that it probably changed a bajillion times
Oh yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody forgot about it in the Old Kingdom and then the First Intermediate period, so hey, we'll just make it up in the Middle. Like, that's the other thing, and
It's good enough,
it's good enough.
right?
Yeah.
Because we also tend to assume standardization,
hour.
extreme standardization in art history, when it is absolutely not the way, unless it's royal art, in which case, yes, the royal house, like the royal palace, will tell you exactly
Yeah.
how to depict things.
I
But
will
like,
crush
if it's
you.
private stuff and it's not in a temple, it's like there's not a lot of standardization. Like
No.
you may not even get a blueprint.
They cannot escape.
Yeah. And the standardization is so catered to the particular time period. It's one thing that I always try to reiterate
And
on
strong.
stream and on TikToks is that like don't make these like broad statements that you say applies to the entirety of ancient Egypt, because you're wrong.
Bolster the
Because
ranks.
it's just there are only a small handful of things
I
that
need
really
hearty
do
warriors.
stay the same over the entirety of ancient Egyptian art. It like really is.
Your heart
I have a course on my Patreon. Yeah,
Come then.
cats. I made a course that is on my Patreon that's like goes through every single time period, and it tries to give people enough of a basis that if you look at an image, you can give a rough time period of when it's coming from, like based on like smaller, like minute details and stuff. But it's still like so small. Like it's just
Wait,
so hard.
There was something
do that.
Briana
Always
mentioned about intermediate period. Was it knees? Was
and
it hands? You told me that it was something fucking
I need
weird.
hearty
Oh, there's
warriors.
always
Is
something
that-
fucking
in
weird.
intermediate
Intermediate
period.
period.
Weird with, they have really
I
long,
know.
straight fingers.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the second intermediate period, right?
Take enough
Like-
supplies.
Yeah.
Because I was just looking at this yesterday on Friday with my advisor. He's looking at this one stela, and it's so bizarre. He's got like the thumb is almost the length of the index finger. They're holding them like this. So this guy's walking around like this, and the steel.
They have the
Um,
Lego hands.
Yes,
This
it's
is
yeah. That was my thought exactly. With Playmobil. For those of you who
Yeah.
grew up with that.
Playmobil, yes.
Ooh, controversial. Okay.
I love
this
Playmobil.
house. We are Lego people, but no.
Yeah, it feels like it's like now a trained thing for my eye, but I feel like when I say it, it's like if you just look at a piece of Egyptian art and it's just a little sad or just a kind of little bad, you can kind of assume it's intermediate period.
The vibes are
if
off.
If there's something just a little bit off, it's usually
Yeah.
like an intermediate period, and like they have like the proportion, like really long arms, really long like torsos and like legs and stuff, and really big eyes like that take up almost like the entirety of the face.
Yeah.
Important choices to make here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the weight of royalty is probably the easiest one.
Yeah. And the other, like, none of these rewards are particularly better than others, so I'm pretty okay just doing that, and it will just happen immediately. Because there's one province. Oh, there's a second province. We can't even build anything in Mari, so we're just gonna get it.
Might as well.
We must
Yeah.
stand together.
Might as well. Also, how's our family going?
Yes.
How are the kids?
So Yata is a devout warrior,
Okay.
which is good.
I mean,
great.
good for her.
And Dadana
Good for
will
her.
soon come of age, but I think we have to marry Yata. We have to get somebody into our family.
Where's the kid? Where's the male?
Oh, he died. I didn't know
He
if
died?
you
Did
caught
you
that.
miss
Yeah, yeah.
Shit.
In that big
dead.
battle, he died.
Oh yeah, I saw that, and I was like, maybe he's just wounded, or is he like dead?
He's dead. We made a 16-year-old a widow.
Oh, look.
I mean-
loves family. Let's
Ooh.
marry
That's
him.
good, let's
We're
make
gonna
it
have to give him some money, but that'll be fine.
I mean, those are the traditions, right? How much of a dowry can we
Yeah.
get?
I was gonna say,
Just the nature of ancient marriage, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. I did ask my mom jokingly, what is my dowry? And she was like, what dowry? What are you talking about? I was like, do you want sheets? Do you want?
no
Do you want?
dowry for you.
We got some great towels, some great bath towels. That much, but like
This will
much
be-
later, like years after the wedding. So we're like, okay,
Okay.
yeah, it is dowry. Okay, so now we have
Yes.
a 16-year-old widow.
Who is
We have
officially now part of our faction, Imarazati. At least I think he's
Good,
part of our
good.
faction. I hope he isn't like leading one of their
Born to
armies or
spill
something.
blood.
Oh, he is. That's a
right. Oh shit. Oh,
well.
that's
Good luck, buddy. We'll be helping
yeah,
out
good luck.
Karkovish in a
That's
moment.
not good.
Oh my
That's
God.
not good.
Man of the
Oh my
odds.
god.
So
Ah.
Abisare has been leading our army. I'm really excited to show off these the Ashur horse archers because we finally have horse
Let's
archers of
go.
our own,
Prepare
and
to
we're going to be
launch.
throwing them at Amar.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's
Uh,
go.
Let's go. See, this is
Oh, and look,
okay.
some
I
lions.
have to say, losing a 16-year-old prince in a random fucking battle is very Assyrian. Very
Yeah.
Assyrian coded.
Yeah, that was my thought. He's
Gotta have
you
as
know
many
he-
kids as possible.
I am
knows
destined to
what'll happen.
rule.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, we still have our Manitana, who's been one of our best generals,
oh yeah.
like hands down.
Oh wow, so quick.
We've proved ourselves today. Bright ideas for dull problems.
Okay, so I need to check. I need to
Without
to
bloodshed
try
or
and
chaos.
and hear the things because we've been having some. So when the people upstairs take a shower, we also take a shower. So
Oh, good.
yeah, there's a hole in our ceiling. So I'm trying to figure out if it is actually shower time for our shower.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. Also, yes, you gotta make sure that you have a spare,
Belongs to us.
like Prince Harry teaches us. Not
Everyone
Prince
needs
anymore,
spares.
actually.
Soldiers,
Right.
join with me.
And we are king of the universe. Currently without an heir, but we are king of the universe, which is
Yeah, we kind of have an heir. It's this Dadana when he
mean,
comes
it's-
of
yeah.
age.
another very precocious bearded 14-year-old.
Yes. We should check how our dynasty is rated. We are at the top level piety.
We are holy. Ooh.
Very cool.
Yes, and we also have pretty high end in the warfare aspects. We might get that at some point, but yeah, increased morale, increased prayer duration. Oh wow! Look at how many things that he has.
We did so many things. I mean, we are, you know.
I don't see.
And do we need? Can we recruit another army? Do we need to recruit another army? at this
Right
point?
now, no. We have some resources, but the other army we've recruited is Avisares. That's marching into Amar province.
Yeah, good.
Really like to have that. Yeah, getting ourselves back into civilization from crisis would be really nice. That's part of the reason that it'd be great to have Susa. Plus, you know, unique monument and all that, which is always great.
Yeah. Ziggurat and bonuses and all of that. Excellent. Let's see.
So one thing that's kind of odd is that Lagash is here. Lagash was probably uninhabited at this point. I need to ask my friends who work on Lagash and can tell me the chronology a little better. But the city was really prominent in the early dynastic period, but did not last really past the 3rd millennium. Mostly for like geological, like salination type reasons.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, we got 8 out of 2 provinces.
I like that the symbol of the Urartu invaders is like this.
Yeah.
With something on their head, like, Some of these symbols. Oh, let's go.
Alright, so this is the last army of Akurma. Akurma, we haven't been talking as much game stuff, but for those who've been watching, Akurma were the ones who were in charge of, like, they had taken Nineveh, and Agade, which are both pretty historically important cities. But now we are fully in control of Mesopotamia proper. The actual area between the Tigris and the Euphrates is, other than I guess technically this one little area, is ours.
I mean, eventually, you know.
I will not.
We are inevitable.
Yes.
We are.
We are absolutely inevitable. We're, you know, you cannot escape. And if you do, oh my God, there's another cat. Hello.
I want them broken.
Cat. This is the one. This is Tamu.
Tamu.
Trouble because she just climbed into my greenhouse.
Song and verse.
Sitting in my plant.
The gods demand.
No.
Okay, ma'am, that is not nice. Don't sit on the endpoint.
Like them to
No thanks.
smithereens.
No thanks, ma'am. You know, she's she's an unruly.
Into two.
She's an unruly. She makes her own rules. She's the one who appeared and decided to be adopted. So
Only the
she literally
bravest
just
should
appeared
come.
on my fire escape at the window.
Oh my God.
Keep them trapped.
The cat distribution system, as I've heard the internet call it.
Yes.
at work
I've been
at its finest.
I've been waiting for my day. Been
Submit
waiting
to me.
very patiently.
I know.
Just,
It's like
it would just save me
when
so much
will
trouble of adopting a cat and all that if I could just find
when
one.
will a trash goblin just appear at my window?
I know.
All 4 of mine were.
Calm.
Well, except for you with Holly, I was fostering him. And then I
Sail
just
along.
had to keep him, so.
Oh, baby.
Keep 'em.
I mean, we knew the
Feel
moment
like
she
baby.
posted the first photo, everyone knew.
I really was seriously fostering him, but the person who was in charge of all of that, she really dropped the ball on it, so I felt it was irresponsible for me not to keep him, because he has
Fair.
separation anxiety.
He does. He does. You're his
Oh,
mother.
I know.
Yes. He literally
He's a-
follows me everywhere, so when I go to sleep, I don't even have to like pick him up and carry him with me, he just automatically follows me.
Are you feeling like the king of Mitanni in this moment? With the great king of the Hittites following you everywhere?
Yeah!
Looking at you, observing you,
Okay,
staring
so
even.
bad news.
We got our
the major,
asses
the one of the major Aurortian kingdoms attacked us out of nowhere. The good news, I guess the interesting news, is we now get to see an Aurorti in general. Pretty cool outfit, cool dreadlocks.
Why
Yeah,
the dreadlocks?
But you know,
Oh, he attacked Nineveh. We have a question in the chat.
yes.
Regarding the Nineveh dogs, is it more likely that these are the names of actual dogs or apotropic idealized dogs? Ooh.
Probably on the second half. A lot of the names are similar to some of the names of Egyptian dogs that I've seen, which are like the names themselves are like ways that maybe the human is trying to identify with the traits of that dog and trying to use those traits and say, oh, I'm strong in battle, I'm fierce, I'm fast, like kind of trying to identify with those traits. And so I'd have to look at the context of where like these models were found. Because like if they're found this pack was found beneath a palace doorway at Nineveh.
Yeah.
So in that
it's like
case,
protective.
yeah, very protective.
Yeah.
They're not really meant to be real dogs. They are symbolizing somebody that would be a good guard dog, and that's why their names are coming from that.
Apart from one.
So yeah.
But,
Yeah. Apart from one.
apart from one.
But yeah, it's probably they're more likely trying to be idealized dogs and use those traits that why dogs were even necessary to be like working animals. So they're guard dogs, they're fast, they're good hunters, they're loyal, things like that.
They're expellers of evil. Also, bearing something under like at a doorway or like under the threshold there, it's like a very powerful magic. Like when you want something to be very effective, that's where you put it. There's a couple of gates in Iron Age Italian settlements with kids buried under the threshold of the gate for reasons, right? And like if you want to like close a temple, you would put something right in front of the door to signify closure, like in Greek context. Thresholds are like dangerous places, so if you want something like to protect it, you put it literally underneath the stepping stone. So I would assume that these dogs are also like probably also like protecting from anyone who tries to enter, not just from anyone outside, right? You're creating like a magic barrier with barking good boys, which is excellent.
Yeah. There is I know one instance of one of the buried dogs in my thesis that was buried at like the entrance of an old Gigan tomb. And so that kind of, it bridges that gap of like, okay, is this actually a personal animal of this person? And that they are, like the dog did happen to die, and so they just happened to bury it at the front entrance, but because of, if it was buried next to the person, that would be very different than because it's buried at the entrance of this tomb, that it's just like, okay, I feel like there's a possibility that this could just have been like a sacrificed dog, that they were just like, okay, we're going to sacrifice this dog, we're going to bury it at the entrance as like a protection thing. And so it bridges that gap where you're like, they're not all pets, and so you got to kind of figure out what it looks like.
Yeah, and I mean, sacrificing dogs is unfortunately, like for as much as we frown upon, was something that happened in ancient times. Like in Greece, you would sacrifice a dog to purify. And for instance, in certain places in Boeotia, you would throw dogs into a cliff, like down a cliff, for the gods. I mean, where I'm digging, we are fairly, let's just say not certain, but like, we're almost certain that they ate them sometimes. Because the bones have traces of being having been cooked in stew. And there's butchering marks on the bones. So it's, you know, on the one hand it's like because we see them as pets, but on the other it's like, well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. And the pit in the Athenian Agora with all the kids' remains inside also has a few dogs, but that was probably a purification ritual that they did, because you take an animal that is impure and represents the pollution, and then by cleansing the word of the animal, you cleanse the pollution. So it's I mean, it is sad because it's an animal, but it's also something that people would have wanted to do for, you know, to protect it. It's either us or, you know, whatever fucking evil is on us. So we gotta do that, right?
Yeah, and the dogs were sacrificed very much, but very in like the very end portion of ancient Egyptian history, and were sacrificed and mummified to be used as essentially. It's a very interesting. It's like it was a business. It was absolutely a business.
It's like the ex voto.
Yeah, it was cats, mummies, ibis birds, falcons, crocodiles. Like all of these things
Fake
were,
mummies in the shape of animals that don't have mummified
yes.
remains inside.
or have one bone. That's all. Which that always cracks me up because that's I'm like, is that a scam? In that like some guy is taking a cat and cat bones and they're making, instead of making just one cat
Many
mummy, they're making
mummies.
multiple? Or is it actually more of a like I feel like it probably was more of a scam, but I feel like there also could be the possibility where it's like if you couldn't afford a full cat mummy,
Yeah,
you
you
could buy a
get, like-
cheaper option that only has one bone in it. And so it's like, is it a scam or is it actually like a huge economic system that gives you options of mummies to be able to purchase? And so the funny thing enough, it definitely tells you that jackals were not really living natively in Egypt because of the amount of dogs that were sacrificed for Anubis. And that probably in that later time, dogs and jackals are being confused by the
One of
actual
your
people,
units
and they're
has
like, well, there's
depleted
not
their
enough
ammunition.
jackals to do it, so we might as well just use all of these stray dogs that are everywhere.
I mean, close
And-
enough. It barks.
Close enough,
Jackals
like, I think so.
We have them
But
trembling.
I don't know if it would be closer to like a little fox's scream, though.
Right. Like,
It's
I don't
somewhere
think
around
like
there.
woof or woof, but like some.
No, it's like they make,
Your warriors are wavering.
yeah, they make some.
Silent, but
Yeah, not
They
really
don't tell us.
barking. But yeah, so they were sacrificed like in Egypt, but a lot of people attribute that much earlier than it actually is going on. It's not a. It's and so that was the other difficult thing with my thesis was like, okay, these are not getting included. I was like, this is not
No.
the same thing, and also there are millions of them, so there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way in hell I'm adding them. adding
Do
these
Well,
to my
every
thesis.
time a new like 13th Emir Peter like late period animal cemetery is discovered, it's like, yes, how many millions do we have now?
Okay,
Right?
how many? Let's
Yeah, it's so
list it
many.
off.
And the
It's
thing
so
is,
many.
huge numbers of them we will never get because something I learned from a talk from Salima Ikram that I found very interesting is that they would put all these animal mummies in like leftover tombs basically, and they would just pile them up by the thousands, and it's thousands of animal corpses covered in resin and cloth, and they would catch on fire all the time and burn, and then they'd be gone, and then.
Cut them
You know,
asunder.
that's just another round of, like, one of the many rounds of destruction that would happen to these things as they would be destroyed and,
They will sing
refilled,
about triumph.
because they would go,
I
you
shall
know,
bring a new
go
era
back to it.
to the whole
Um,
there.
Yeah, so we,
Also, in a very short
them
thing, they were
trapped.
used as manure in England.
Yes, yeah, that's what I wanted to. I mean,
Taste
to be fair, it's
serious
organic
power.
material.
Yes. Yeah.
They
It works
cannot
as
escape.
manure. Is it respectful? No, not for shit, but
No.
it works as manure. Unfortunately, right? That is why.
Submit to me.
If you have friends who are zooarchaeologists, they may or may not have very nice, you know,
Strength,
backyards
honor, discipline.
or orchards with flourishing nature. Let's just say.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely.
because that's because they bury the bodies of the animals
I will
underneath them,
protect the
and then
people.
when the bones are ready, they just pick out. You know, they just pick them out.
Yeah.
They're buried in meshes and they pick it up. But let me tell you, those lettuces, great,
God,
fantastic.
stop
Like,
me.
you know, everything grows. It's a circle of life.
Circle of life.
No, it happens. I mean, there have been expeditions of people I know to places to pick up
I shall
bodies
bring a
of
new era to
animals
the
that they
whole world.
found. They were like, yeah. I mean, is this legal? No. Are we going to do it? Yes. You know, at home with a big batch of hydrogen peroxide and a lot of
Smite them to
patience.
smithereens.
You know, that's how we get bone collections for
Yeah,
archaeology
absolutely.
and other
Oh
places.
yeah.
You know?
You need to get
Sometimes-
them somewhere.
No, exactly. Oh, finally we can get a third
Yes.
power.
or a fourth power.
Right,
so we
number
have,
3.
Corvée labor, which is better buildings, or make other people less happy. I think the buildings. I don't think we
Perfect.
usually want to
Yeah.
incite a revolt.
Yeah. I mean, we don't care about happiness because we usually destroy them. So
Yeah. People
like, oh,
can
it's
be
so
unhappy
nice.
later.
exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, they
Susa
can-
wants to become our
oh.
vassal. No,
No.
sorry.
No, we need that city. Sorry, man.
Yeah, this is. I'm just continuing to raid Nineveh. Unfortunately, I need to know that.
Ooh, and Nineveh is putting up a defense. Historically correct, but you know, eventually. Oh, this bitch.
I can't not think of Nineveh. This is so off base. I grew up Catholic, and so I've learned a lot of these things. But I always loved the Veggie Tales, and in the Veggie Tales thing, Nineveh they slap each other with fishes. And that's why they're so bad and so mean to each other. Is they slap each other with giant like flounder. And every time I hear Nineveh, I think about that.
I was there was a very nice pregnant person when I was getting my haircut several years ago who said that she wanted to give her daughter a name from the Bible and that the name she had chosen was Nineveh. And I did what I shouldn't have done and I shut the fuck up, but I should have asked her, ma'am, are you aware?
Nineveh is actually a pretty common name in the modern Assyrian community.
I know, but this person
really?
was not Assyrian.
Oh
Let me
yeah,
tell
yeah.
you.
We are victorious.
So
Interesting.
yeah, Tim Hogue, my a professor who I've now TA'd for twice at Penn, great guy, and who was on stream with us with our Sea Fuels campaign.
Yes.
But he
What a great
grew up
campaign.
in California in an area with a very high Assyrian population, like just diaspora, and like there were like a dozen girls in his high school named Nineveh.
Really?
Yeah.
Ancient
Very interesting.
ancient inspired names are very common in, as you might expect, in the Assyrian diaspora community. Like I think it's like car mechanic is named Sargon. Like it's just, you know.
Wow.
Sargon is such a, it's you know, it has become problematic as a name because of well-known right-wing trolls,
Oh well, yeah.
right?
True.
But yeah, no, the person who was talking about the name was not part of the diaspora community. It was entirely entirely another community. It was like,
Soon they'll win.
but yeah. But you know, ancient names
As
are
the gods will.
some are more tainted than others. Let's put it this way. Some are
Yeah.
less acceptable than others nowadays. Look at the tower. Look at the tower go.
So we're
It's
you know, sending our
my
siege engines
gosh.
against the walls of Susa, and here are
This is
the,
really
the
cool.
archers of Elam.
Down the climbers.
I mean,
Oh yeah.
they look really cool, but they all have the same face as their generals, which is the same face as their king. Like with the helmet and the thing and then the beard, they're all the same person. They're clones.
This is just the Clone Wars.
It is. It is. It's good to see age-appropriate. Oh my God, siege engines. Like you know, era-appropriate siege engines and not catapults. Like we're not there yet. We will eventually, but we're not there yet. But you know the Assyrian Daleks. You know, we're getting to those eventually. Look at those walls.
Yeah.
The walls are awesome.
Would be a pity if someone were to scale them.
But this is exactly the kind of crenellations you see both in like depictions and also if you go to, unfortunately it's in Berlin and not where it should be in Babylon,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
the
right.
Ishtar Gate. This is what it
Yeah.
looks like.
It does. It's really. They did a
Yeah,
good job. These machines are so interesting.
they are. They're like, you know, we got Grond to take down the gate naturally.
Yeah.
I mean,
The most important character in Lord of the Rings, Grond.
exactly. Thank you, Grond.
Your warriors seek
Thank
to
you
tear
very
down
much.
the enemy gates.
You know.
Yeah, here
Yeah, our warriors seek to tear down the gates. Yeah, we know. We
Bahordi,
sent them
King
there.
of Elam, with his excellent regalia right here, getting shot at by
there he
flaming
is.
arrows.
Oh, he's there to pray.
The enemy gates have fallen.
I mean, yeah, let's go. I mean, he doesn't really have a choice because we're coming in. You know, we're
Yeah.
like, knock, knock. Who's there?
We're here.
Higher. Yeah,
Get
exactly.
you.
Open up. Open up.
Open.
Exactly. Get it. But it's true, chat. From the
gates
Altar of
are
Wars, every
almost
soldier
in
in a
your
unit was
grasp.
completely the same for technical limitations. I remember those armies of clones in Rome.
Oh
The
yeah.
first one. The OG Rome, and then they managed to vary the clothing. I think we also need to thank the mods like for that, like the modding community, the modders for that, because
Yeah.
those were like the first times that units were actually reskinned properly. I remember Europa Barbarorum, which was one of the first great mods of its age.
Yeah.
And then when Medieval 2 came out, Bellum Crucis and Machiavello. So it's like big. Europa Barbarorum was like probably the first one to make a big splash. And then thank goodness, you know, we don't have. I mean, we still have the fucking clones for the generals now. That's the next step. Like different faces.
Please.
But
please,
eventually,
thank you.
please give us different faces. You know, my God.
Tremble before
Yeah, it's one of the things I've noticed with like all the Assassin's Creed games is that like they usually do like so great on like one of the temples, and then you go to another temple and you're like, this is the same. And then you go to another temple and you're like, oh, this is the same
skin.
again. So like I think Origins has like 3 different skins, because I think they have there's one for Sekhmet temples, and then there's a couple, and there's maybe like one for like more of like a forest temple or something, but like they only got like 3, and you're like, I understand, but somebody could have gone crazy on this.
I know.
Somebody could
right?
have been amazing.
Yeah, even in the tombs, when Briana
the
set
tomb.
tombs on fire, it's because they had images that should have not been there. So, you know.
Yeah.
They were
Tombs
weird.
are always
Your
sad.
warriors have
and
been routed.
going into like the mummification houses in Origins, and like you see like a Middle Kingdom like rectangular coffin, and then you see Tutankhamun's coffin, and then you see like a fine mummy portrait coffin, and you're just like, what's going on in here?
It's like, what's going on here? What are we doing here? Are we
There's
giving
all
people options?
hand-me-downs from thousands of years ago, just left in the mummification house, and you can choose which one you want.
It's not even grandma's coffin at that point. It's like, you know,
Oh,
the
God, no.
ancestral
One of your
coffin.
units has completed
Absolutely.
their ammunition.
Oh, so I see. Our flaming arrows are doing their work. Good, excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, look at the fight. Where's our
Fighting on the
king?
walls. Look at the walls. Wow.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Attacking a siege like this is always tough, and I'm not the best at them. But our army is geared for like good cavalry work, and that's tough to do on the walls of a city. We've done some damage, but we may be coming back.
Try to convince the horses to go up the walls.
Yeah. Just give them a little elevator with one of those little things and get them on the walls.
Just lift them. Lift them up.
Yeah, be easy. Be easy.
Mighty steeds.
And now we're in the rain, which is even worse.
Your
They
warriors
just
have
get
yeah.
burned down their
Slippery.
homes. And what's the fun in
I
that?
I
know.
mean, might as well.
What a bummer.
Look at the allied veterans. Okay. They're annoying. Behind their walls, trying to save their own cities. Why would they? Why would they?
Fling the rubble.
There's no point.
Leave this fight.
Yeah, what we may do is leave and try and bait them out. That may be the correct thing.
Bless our bows.
Because they're
given that the
damaged
door
enough
is
that they
open.
could not win if they were to push back out and attack us.
Your
Right.
warriors have been routed.
And
But we
they're
can't,
running
we
out of
can't
food,
really barge in.
but
Draw back.
we will. The official histories will be altered a little bit, I think.
I mean, of course. We're
Absolutely.
gonna, you know. Yeah, yeah.
In
It's
true
just-
Assyrian fashion.
It was unfair. They had a big wall. It was
Yeah.
thicker than we thought it was.
Exactly,
Like, how were we supposed to
exactly.
do that?
Exactly. and after-
The calculation was off for my giant ladder to get up to the thing. Some guy told me that it was this tall, and it was actually way too.
I mean, in
way
our
taller.
defense, it works on shorter walls. So
What you do is you claim that you won immediately when in fact it took you a long time,
This is a stain upon our
and while
great-
simultaneously
Oh.
claiming that it was exceedingly difficult.
exactly.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
we're
was
just gonna
Syrian
starve them
and-
out.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
going to be what
yeah.
happens.
We're gonna do a
Or
long
possibly
game.
our
Long
vassal is
game.
going to take Susa. That seems like a thing that may will just end up happening. Because our vassal has been accumulating troops there while disloyally refusing to help us.
Everybody has their duty.
So we may be trying to bribe Duranki into letting us annex them at some point in the near future.
Oh,
Because
well, that could work.
Well. Let's see what happens like at the beginning of our turn, because we were
Yeah. We're closing in the time we have to end for the day anyway. Oh yeah, we have
No,
pull those
I do
guys
not
back,
like
right.
this.
This is annoying. I forgot to move an army, and now these guys are going to die. That is just
Oh, well.
me forgetting how movement works. That's fine. This army is a side project. Our
Yeah, we
incursion
don't
into Syria. This is
necessarily
the
need
part,
that.
like, defending the Assyrian heartland is what matters, and this army's been doing well.
Oh yeah. Okay, Civilization Imperial, listen.
Yeah, civilization's
our
been in
general,
peril
yeah.
for a while.
yeah.
Collect the following resources from raiding, construct administrative buildings, or reach a... So we're always running in debt on food, so I want to try getting
so-
resources from raiding.
Yeah. We gotta raid.
Universal king without peer. Free reign. Enjoy.
Rest your spirit a while and have a drink.
Someday we will ultimatum
Chaos.
them over this, but not yet.
I mean,
we don't want
someday.
to. We don't want to get into a war with our loyal vassal that is
We don't need
refusing
any
to
more
help
enemies
us.
as of now.
Yeah.
I shall bring a new era to the whole realm.
We got enemies everywhere.
You shall not
Should we
influence
replace
me.
the general that we lost in his
Oh,
army,
yes,
or
we
did
were
the
about
army
to do
replace
that.
him?
Glory.
Okay. Yeah.
So one last raid on
Okay.
Orotu, and then we will pick out our new general.
Excellent.
Ah,
There we go.
the
Thank you very
sweet
much.
taste of a hard-won victory.
Ah.
We're in control of Lobdu. I like Ibil Sin. That's a good and genuinely
I shall
Mesopotamian
bring a
name.
new era to
That's
the
a
whole
good
world.
name. Yeah.
That is a
Unlike
very
some
good
of
name.
the
Heart
unlike some of the
singing for
names here
blood.
that are not necessarily Mesopotamian. They're the
Yes.
you'll get a lot of Hebrew renditions of the Mesopotamian name. So we're gonna raise it. Yeah, we're gonna raise for ourselves a new army
Replenish the
here.
regiments. Fill the
Absolutely.
ranks. Training will come later. I seek comrades with vision. I need hearty warriors. Take them. Feed them.
Let's
Train them.
use our
Your heart
power to
sing
give
for
ourselves
blood.
even more recruitment
Come then.
slots, so we can get this army up and running in about
Fill
3
the ranks.
turns.
Training will come later.
Okay. So in 3 turns we will have. Dang, we will have a big army.
Yeah, and I want to up his
I
movement as
seek
much as
comrades
possible,
with vision. I need hearty warriors.
so that we can. Because I would like to take Amar back, to avenge our vassal and possibly other reasons.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Our
10,000
you know
direct actions.
our loyal vassal.
Oh, Gu Aiden is absolutely
Oh,
desperate
you know
to
what?
become our vassal. That seems
Perhaps
like
we should spar again
perfectly
someday.
acceptable.
Oh yeah.
We will happily charge them huge amounts of bronze and whatever else in
Absolutely.
exchange for the privilege of becoming
You will prosper.
our
under my
vassal.
rule.
One of us. One of us.
One of us.
Excellent.
Oh, I see
That's the
why.
rule.
It's because
Excellent.
Igalkid is going to be attacking them in just a moment. So we'll see whether they remain
so
our
they really
vassal
want
or
our
not.
protection.
Well, that's how
mean-
Mesopotamian
I am
politics
destined
works.
to
I think
rule.
people
I
want
shall
Yes.
their
bring a new era to the
protection,
whole world.
and we are generous enough to offer it to
Battlefield
them.
awaits.
Exactly. For a price.
Yes.
A modest
Oh,
price.
Future
because the
belongs to
vassals
us.
in this game continuously send you resources and units and whatever else out of the goodness of their hearts, and also because we require it. So,
Also because they have
fantastic
to. Yeah,
display of
exactly.
bravery.
They're
Yeah.
sort of forced to. But we're not gonna complain.
So few are like me.
all right. And
You come
oh,
to
the
the
King of
court of a
Ashur
great
position has become
empire.
vacant.
Know your place.
So we're going to claim
Okay,
it, of course,
well.
for ourselves and give it to our new Ibil Sin as hopefully
Yes.
motivation.
Yes. Excellent.
encouragement.
Excellent. Did
for
we give him? Did we give him his stuff?
That's what we're going to do next. Is
There you go.
Nicholson
Excellent,
has
excellent.
ancillary slots. Wise nobleman. Of course, we'll need to marry him off.
Of course, necessarily.
Absolutely.
Oh, we now hold the
yeah,
whole
we can
the
get
whole
him
land of
a gold.
Assyria, so we can have
Ooh.
the standard of Mont Ashur.
Excellent.
For him to carry
Yeah,
around,
Get it.
which is pretty great.
This outfit is so cool.
Good for him.
Yes?
Good for him.
Graced by Ashur.
Okay. Ooh.
So many banes of whatever. The accomplished.
The accomplished. Oh, bereft sire of Rimagu in memory of our kid. That's sad. But we are more accomplished than
that's
we
not
are,
that's
than
not the
we are
kind of
sad.
title you want.
So-
You want happy titles. You want positive things. You know.
Exactly. You want something that that
Your
exudes
heartless
power,
cause revolts
not to
me.
remember an unworthy son who died in battle.
Exactly.
No, he wasn't good enough for the throne anyway.
Absolutely was not good enough. That was his test, and he failed, unfortunately. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
At
we're
last.
what are we gonna do? We raised him,
Take
and
this
then
route.
he clearly was a failure. So might as well. His equally as bearded brother would pick up the slack.
Yes, who will probably look the same, but for
Absolutely.
genetic reasons and no others.
No
others.
other reason.
no reason.
No,
Absolutely
I mean we
none.
should. It would be very in character to marry the widow to the younger brother, but
Honestly, yeah.
you know that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep,
sometimes
here
it
it is.
works, sometimes it doesn't.
Igal Kid is causing problems as we expected, and we'll take care of them. We have
Oh
to,
yeah,
we have,
yeah. And Susa has
protect-
been taken by our vassal,
Gather
which
around.
is
Yes.
good.
All right, so I think that is where we can leave it. We are fully in control
Yeah.
of Assyria, but fending
Yeah.
off all of
This
Assyria's
is,
traditional enemies.
It's been a morning.
A lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
as ever.
Yes.
But yes, thank you everyone for watching.
Merci.
Next time we will be
Merci.
invading Syria and Urartu, aka modern Armenia, and Igal Kid, the remaining province in Elam. Nobody wants to confederate still, I assume.
How
but-
long
Oh,
will the
Gui
war
Dane is
last?
actually
Your passion is quite
even
fierce,
also
Lord.
interested in confederating. That's fun.
Oh, you know what?
They're getting
Yeah?
closer. They'll
Yeah,
come
yeah.
around. But I think we can save and end things here. So thank you all for listening,
Yeah.
and hope to see you
Yeah.
next time.
Save it. Thank you everyone. Thank you, Melissa, for being with us.
Yes, thank you guys.
And
Always
for,
happy to
for
be
the-
here.
For the dog discourse, thank you, chat.
Always.
And we will disappear shortly.
Hey, bye.